your soul and spirit fly into mystic. Let your soul and spirit fly into mystic. Into mystic. Into mystic. Into mystic.
Good evening and welcome back to Mystic Matters. We are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Good evening, Tricia Cunningham.
Good evening, Suzette.
Summer's here.
It is. We're in full swing.
We are in full swing.
We are.
And one of our favorite places?
Mystic Seaport.
Mystic Seaport. Welcome, Dan McFadden from Mystic Seaport.
Oh, thank
you are in gear, and the Seaport's in gear. What is going on?
We are in gear. So let's start with July 4th.
Right.
First of all, we have our usual July Independence Day celebration set in 1876. We have a parade, a ceremony, a brass quartet concert.
On the grounds?
On the grounds.
Okay.
Regular, well, there is one twist this year, which is that everybody pays kids' prices. So
I happen to
that's
like
a nice
that.
twist. That's a good twist. We like that twist.
So they're not going to, when you get to the door, ask you if you're a kid or not. They're going to just assume that you are.
everybody is a youth. And
Okay.
pays kids' prices.
for the
that
day.
I
Kid for
want
the
to be
day.
So you get
carded.
independence from your adulthood
Exactly.
on Independence
That's
Day.
fantastic.
Can you use that? That's
You
good.
can use
That's
it.
great.
I'll
That's
give
great.
you the rights.
I love that.
So we're looking forward to having a lot of people here. It's a great day. And on top of that, we're actually doing a concert, which is something new for us, a rock concert, starting at 7 p.m. It's on our green. It's a separate ticket. The band is Barefoot Truth,
Yeah.
which a couple of you may
Fantastic.
or may not
Oh,
know
yes.
about.
It's
I
very
haven't seen them
popular.
yet, but we've heard great things about them in the Mystic area. So that's something new for us. You can buy your tickets online or buy it at the gate, but we hope that'll be a great July 4th event, something new for us.
I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it will be. And so that's just one day.
That's just one day.
That's just one day that you
Yeah,
mentioned.
let's move on.
So,
This weekend, we have the Catboat Rendezvous. I don't know if you know what a catboat is.
What
but
is a
it's
catboat?
A traditional New England-style sailboat where the mast is up in the very front of the boat. They were all over. Cape Cod style is the most famous one, but the association, of which I'm a member, by the way.
Do you have a catboat?
I have a catboat.
Will your catboat be on
I'm not sure
display?
my catboat will be there yet. I do
You're the
have to work.
captain of your catboat.
I am the captain of the
Okay.
catboat. But it's the organization celebrating its 50th anniversary, and we're hoping to have at least 60 at this point catboats showing up from all over New England, and probably have some more as well. There'll be old ones from 1903 on. Most of them will be newer fiberglass catboats, but it's great, and it's a fun group of people, and it'll just
Because you're one of them, so
I'm
it
one
would
of them.
have to be.
I'm a fun person,
Yeah.
but it's a good group
We
of people.
heard that about you, Dan.
and they are celebrating 50 years. They're actually founded in Mystic Seaport, so it's nice. That'll be a fun event.
Yeah,
And
nice
now
bringing
I
it
know
back
that.
to back to its roots. That's
Back
good.
to its roots.
Thank you
And
for
on
that
top
piece
of
of
that, we
history.
have there is more.
Oh.
We are starting a new thing this year too called Plays on the Green, and on Fridays and Saturdays, 2 in July, starting this weekend, and 2 more in August, and actually 2 in between. You can check our website for specific days, but it's a family-oriented play, about 1 hour. See, this one is Charles Dickens. Let me just double-check it right. It is The Magic Fishbone by Charles Dickens.
Okay.
So
That's
again,
the very first one.
That's the very first one. And that's this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Again, a separate ticket, but get your family together, come down, watch a play on the green, and just have a good time.
Good.
Fantastic.
Sounds like some good stuff.
What else?
One last thing, because I know we're running out of time
How did
here,
you know?
but
I can tell.
There's
Suzette's
always,
like,
there's
there's
always
more.
something
There's always
else.
something
I can
going
go all
on,
the way till
yeah.
December if we need to do
Oh,
that.
and that would be great.
But and once again, and this is a great thing for locals, is our Summer Music Sundays at 5 o'clock every Sunday, starting this weekend through the rest of the summer. Get on the grounds for free. Spouter's Tavern's open for light food and maybe a beer and glass of wine, and we have live music as well.
Okay, I do have a question for you on a Sunday evening. The Sabino runs on a Sunday evening
The
as well?
Sabino does run on a Sunday
Okay,
evening as well.
yeah, that was a question that was asked. So
Yep.
I have the answer to
Yep.
that.
She absolutely does. Goes down the river, does the 90-minute cruise.
Fantastic.
Good, which is beautiful. If you have not been down the Mystic River on the Sabino, you must do that this summer. It's just
It is a must-do.
It's just a great treat. Like, if you live here, work here, visit here, you need to do that.
Absolutely.
And so far, our weather's been holding out for the season.
So far.
Cross our fingers.
So far.
Well, Dan, some great things going on at the Mystic Seaport. Just for our viewers, can you give us the website?
Sure. www.mysticseaport.org.
Fantastic.
Thank
you. Okay.
We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, Tricia, what else is going on? I know we're geared
Well-
up, just like Dan said. It's been a great summer so far.
Yeah, and one thing I just want to mention about Mystic Seaport is it's institutions like Mystic Seaport and the Aquarium that give us the foundation in
Yes.
this region as a
Yes.
tourist destination, and they do so much and they give back so much in terms of regional marketing, and it definitely needs to be recognized because that's what helps all of the other
You're right.
institutions in the area and other organizations and retail and
Right.
dining that
Well-
that are all supported by this level of tourism that comes into the area. So it needs to be mentioned how much someone like an organization like the Seaport and the Aquarium give back to that regional marketing to make that happen.
And not only that, Tricia, and I'm so glad you said that. I mean, that's good. All that marketing and all that advertising is good for, you know, all small business.
Absolutely.
But again, they also employ people in the area, which is very important
For
as
seasonal,
well.
Mystic Seaport, 300.
That's right. Right.
In the in the heavy season, 300
Right.
people.
And you know, and there's also opportunity there for volunteers.
Yep.
And,
Oh, it count,
and
and I'm like, I can't even count how many volunteers.
Right.
So
Right.
it's just great, and it really adds to the quality of life here. So.
Right. And just so as we're speaking about volunteers, just
Mm-hmm.
want to let everybody know that there is still opportunity. The Mystic Outdoor Art Festival is the 11th and 12th. Did I get that right?
Yes.
11th and
Yeah.
12th, because I mean, sometimes it's the 10th and 11th, but this year
Yep.
it's 11th and 12th, and there's still opportunity for people to sign up and volunteer as well.
Yep, so if you're interested in signing up for volunteering for any shift at the Mystic Outdoor Art Festival, it's 2 days. We have shifts that start as early as 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning till,
Right.
you know, anywhere between, you know, up to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So lots of different opportunities.
And hubby and I, a couple of weekends ago, were downtown Mystic, had dinner, and the Mystic Drawbridge ice cream. It's a beautiful night. A lot of people walking around.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody, for supporting our local economy. We are open, so that was good news too, just to see, you know, that Mystic was buzzing again.
Yeah, it's buzzing. It's doing good. So we're happy about that. So we have, you know, we talk about the Mystic Seaport and the aquarium and things like that,
Yes.
but we have some great historical groups in our area. I mean, our region is built on history.
Exactly.
So we have two
Yeah.
fabulous ladies from the Dennison Homestead today.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just recognize and introduce Julie Soto.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the reason why.
I know
because
the reason why.
Tricia has got a name here that I would just rather say Aiden, but you go right ahead.
Okay, I'm going to give it a try. Aiden Novensky. I did it good. All right. So
Got it right. I'm so glad it was Tricia and not me.
So
Welcome,
Julie
ladies.
and Aiden.
Thank you for having
From
us.
the Dennison
Homestead.
Homestead. Where are we located, the Dennison Homestead?
We're on Pequot-Seapost Road in Mystic, right across from the Dennison Pequot-Seapost Nature Center.
That is fantastic.
And this is a place, you know, every springtime you see this. It's the house up on the hill with all of the daffodils. Like,
Yes.
you know it's spring when you drive by the Dennison Homestead and all of these daffodils are just coming up. It's such a beautiful sight. It's one of my favorite
This
things to
year.
see in Mystic.
This year they bloomed a month early.
Well, because of the, you know, everything
That's
came.
funny.
Julie, I'm surprised. I'm so glad you said that because everything came
Yeah.
early this year. It
This
wasn't
year.
really planned. But I have a question. Okay, so
Okay.
what is the Dennison Homestead and what is its purpose?
Well, the Dennison Homestead is a piece of property located, like Aiden said, on Pequot-Seapost Road. The property itself has been in the family since 1654 when Captain George settled there with his family. The house, the historic house, was built in 1717 by George's grandson, George.
George's grandson, George.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it too.
And you have to know that Captain George had 64 grandchildren. So
What? How many kids did you have to have
he had
64
9
grandkids?
children, 8 that lived to be adults.
That's amazing.
So the family.
And do they all live in that house? Those 9 kids and those 64 grandkids?
No. Different generations over here have.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a little tight.
So, Captain George's grandson George, he's the first generation to live in the house, and there's been 6 generations in total that have lived in the house since 1717. The last owner of the house was Anne Borodell Dennison Gates, who passed away in 1941, and it was Anne's vision in 1930 to leave the house to the Dennisons to, maintain as a museum and preserve the property. So that was her legacy. So for 82 years, the Dennison Society has maintained and preserved the property.
Now, so who is the Dennison Society and who is it made up of?
Dennison Society is made up of, right now we have over 1,000 Dennison descendants. They can connect their genealogy right to Captain George. Wow. And
That's
they're all
amazing.
over the country. We have some in Canada. We have some in foreign countries. But the majority do live outside of Connecticut.
And those are ones that have tracked their lineage
Right.
back to the family. So there's probably countless others that
Oh,
we
yes.
don't know about.
Yes, there's a lot, because when you look at the Denison genealogy, since the Denisons were here in 1654, they're one of the first families to settle in the area, along with several other families like the Gallops, the Stantons, the Miners, the Palmers.
Right.
Yep.
And they've
Those are
all
all very familiar names.
The Averys.
And they Avery's, right.
Yep.
And they're all, married to each other, and yeah.
Yes, so, probably half a Mystic is related
Right.
to each other.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Right. How much property is actually connected to that house? Do you know?
It's over 160 acres.
Wow.
Most of it is leased to the Denison Pequot-Seapost Nature Center for $1 a year, so that the community can enjoy the property.
And the thing is, it's kind of a win-win situation, because they use it for their programming and they maintain the trails.
Yep. And it's
So-
a lot of trails and great trails through that
Right.
area.
And it's open to the public, to walk on.
And that's all part of the original 200-acre land grant to Captain George. So that was all part of the original Denison farm.
Okay.
What type of programming do you have?
Well, we're open for tours. For the season now, we opened at the beginning of June. So we're open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, 12 to 4.
Until, so that's in June. So you started that in June. So when does that go until?
Through October.
Through October.
However, we are open. Anybody that wants to tour the homestead, as long as they call us ahead of time, maybe a day or so in advance, we can make arrangements to give them a tour.
To show by appointment.
Really?
So
Right.
if it's a descendant,
Yes, because we have a
during
lot of
the week-
descendants that just kind of happen to be in the area, or they're scheduling a trip and they need to come in on one of our off days. We make arrangements to be there.
Okay.
We also have special events, and we have one coming up on July 8th.
Right.
We're going to have the Second Continental Light Dragoons come.
What is
Okay,
that?
what is that?
They're reenactors.
They're actually, they don't like to call themselves reenactors, but they
But they are really that, aren't
Well, we
They
probably
dress the
would
part.
refer to them, but they consider themselves the real thing. They wear authentic clothing just the way George Washington's cavalry would have worn.
So
in the
do they wear that authentic clothing every day?
No, they wear.
I was going to say, they don't want to be called reenactors.
They must be doing that every day then.
But they will do all the artillery drills.
Okay.
The cavalry drills.
And that's on the 8th?
That's on the 8th.
What time about?
11. Their camp opens at 11 and
Okay.
it closes at 3:30. It's free to the public at the Denison Homestead in the meadow. There's also the farm market going on that day, which goes on. The Denison Farm Market occurs every Sunday from June to October.
From 12 to 3.
Right.
And you want to know how I know that?
Because you go.
That's where she gets her groceries.
That's why I
Yep.
love it.
Yep.
I live there on Sundays.
So the farmers market, as you drive by the Denison Homestead, there's that big, huge field, and that's where they have the farmers market, and it's so great, and it's such a great resource for people who live and work in our community. So that same day in that same area, that June 8th, is where they'll be doing this exhibit.
Right. Well, they're doing drills, so they're going to bring
Okay.
the horses and the cannons.
Oh, cool.
And so it's really exciting.
That's very
I'm kind of
cool.
excited about the cannons.
So be loud.
Yeah.
I don't know how often they'll shoot the cannon off,
Right.
but they're also going to have colonial artisans
Okay.
demonstrating maybe weaving and spinning, leatherworking, woodworking.
So about how many people are in this group?
They have approximately 24 people coming. I think there's 4 to 5 horses.
And they represent a certain time era.
Yes.
Right.
They
Yes.
represent a real Army unit in the Revolution.
Okay. So, all right.
So when you take a tour through the home, I mean, what's the square footage of the Denison
walk us,
homes?
because you're one of the
Homesteads.
homesteads.
Yes.
So walk us through a tour. We go in, and what do we expect to see?
Okay. Well, it's a fairly large colonial house, and if we live in New England, I think we all know what a colonial house looks like. They're built on that really classic plan, and this is an example of an original house. What's really unique about the homestead is that when they restored it in the 1940s, they decided to put each room in a different time period. So the house was built all at one time, but all the rooms are in different times. We have a kitchen set in the 1720s, a parlor set in the 1830s, and another parlor set in the 1930s, and then 2 bedrooms. set in other eras. And you can really see how daily life changed for a fairly typical family over that time period. And I think it's a really unique perspective on the history of this area that you don't get in more classic house museums that are in one time period.
Yeah, I like how it shifts from one time period to the next.
And this is all on one floor.
It's 2 floors.
Okay,
it actually
so-
has 3 stories, although we only have 2 open to the public at the moment.
What's the third story, the basement or the attic?
The attic.
Is there a
The attic.
basement?
There isn't
There
much of a
is.
basement.
Like a crawl space?
Yes, it's built directly on the rock, and if anybody has actually driven past the homestead, they'll have noticed the giant rock.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
So they get to see, I mean, some of the glassware, some of the
Yes.
paintings. Is there
Yes.
any favorite painting that stands out in your mind?
Well, we have a beautiful oil painting by Victor Grinnell, who was a sort of one of the Masons Island Art Colony artists of the
Okay.
homestead. But what really is special about the homestead is the furniture. We're really lucky to have a large collection of furniture that all belong to the Dennison family.
So it really stayed in the family.
Yes, and we've got some great pieces. We've got a couple of beautiful tiger maple highboys. We've got a working 18th century loom.
That is what I was going to say impressed me
No,
the
I
most
remember that.
about
Yeah,
about
right.
the home is the loom. It takes up the entire room. It's massive. It's amazing. And that piece of equipment is a work of art itself, I think.
We've also got some great textiles. We've got some old dresses that are gorgeous. And a sampler done by Marcia Dennison in 1838 when she was 8 years old, complete with a couple spelling mistakes. It's adorable. And it's really fun because it's local history.
Right.
And if you like antiques and you like history, you go to the big museums and you see examples of Philadelphia furniture or New York furniture, but this is mostly furniture that was made in New London County, and it's really, I think it's something people enjoy.
Yeah.
Is there a nursery
A nursery.
in the house?
Oh,
per se?
actually, the room that the loom is in
Right.
was the boarding room.
Okay.
So that's where all the babies were born, or your sick or your elderly were kept. But right now we use it for the weaving room.
Right. Actually, most of the children would have shared rooms with their parents.
Yeah.
One of the things
At that time.
yeah.
Right.
One of the things I really like to point out to people is that there were somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 people living in the homestead for the first 100 years that it was in existence. So it's a big house, but nobody had much privacy.
Well, this is certainly a spectacular home and piece of property. And for the viewers, how do you maintain it? What kind of funding is there for this this wonderful piece of property? Because I happen to live in the area, so I do go by there quite a bit, and I always think to myself, it's gorgeous. The painting.
It's
the
always
home,
in
and
perfect condition.
It's absolutely
Yeah.
in perfect condition. So what kind
well
of funding
maintained.
do you
Well-
rely on?
Like a lot of small nonprofits, money, it's hard to get money. For about 82 years, the Dennison Society members, the descendants, have supported the homestead through their annual dues and their donations. We do have quite a few Friends members who are non-Dennisons that really enjoy old homes, and they, help out through
And they know the
donations.
value.
They know
of
the
this
value.
piece of property, right?
Lately, we've been working on grants. There's grants out there, but of course, if you've ever worked on grants, very
Yes.
specific. Last year, we received $8,650 grant from the 1772 Foundation, and that allowed us to. It was a matching grant, so we had to put in the other $8,000.
That's the tough part, right?
Right.
And-
Yeah.
We love those
Right.
matching grants, but
Right, but we have to come up with the money. So we actually were able to power wash the house and put preservative on all the shingles, exterior shingles, and we scraped the windows and painted the windows and replaced broken glass. This year, we received a matching grant for our barn to assess it and assess for future use, and also to stabilize it.
because that's the barn that's across the street
Right.
from the homestead. What is it used for now?
It's used for some storage. The Mystic Garden Club uses a section of it. The Nature Center uses some of it for storage, and we do too. But it is in rough shape, and so we have another matching grant for about $6,500 to assess it and stabilize it. And we have another grant where I hope to get this summer, and that's from the 1772 foundation again, and that is for repairing the foundation. If you noticed all those rocks around the around the house,
You can't not notice it.
well, when it rains, it pours into the basement. And when it pours in the basement, it pools in the basement. And so moisture is detrimental to old homes in the
Absolutely.
collection. So we're trying to get a $15,000 matching grant to fix the foundation so we can preserve it for 300 more years.
Good.
Wow.
That's important because it's been around so long and it's been a big
Right.
piece of our local history. So
It's just a beautiful piece of property.
It is.
Oh, it is. It really is. But it's amazing to me how much it takes financially to try to preserve
It
something like
takes
that.
manpower too.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we can't do because we don't have the manpower.
Right.
And, you know, there's also volunteer opportunities.
do you have a lot of volunteers?
Not at this point.
So if people are looking to volunteer, what
We-
kinds of things would they be able to do and how would they get involved?
Well, whatever they're interested in, we're willing to work with them. If they like gardening, there's a
If
garden.
they like scraping.
Yep.
Right.
Scraping.
If they even like working on the computer, helping with cataloging our documents.
Okay.
If they like role playing, they like dressing up, they like, meeting the public, they like the farm market. Because we always need a representative at the farm market.
Okay.
So there's so many different things they could do. So it's kind of, if they come to us and say, this is what I'd like to do,
Like,
we'll
all
find
right.
a place.
Yep.
Now, do you get a lot of people that coming from the farm market over to the home?
We're trying to encourage people to come up. We're still early in the season this year.
We get so many people who come and say, I've driven by this house every day for years and years, and I've never been in. And we love to get those people to actually come in.
Come in. Yeah.
Now, how did you get involved with the homestead?
Well, actually, I was a student at Stonington High School, and when the former president of the society asked for a recommendation for a student to work there, and I have stuck around. I'm actually the only person who works there who's not related to the family.
So you're not
I'm not a Denison.
That means, Julie, you are a Denison.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
So they've been very nice to me.
And so how long have you been there for?
On and off, 10 years.
That's terrific. That's terrific. And it's something you must be history must appeal to you.
Yes.
And I've heard that you are a walking encyclopedia.
Well, not quite, but
But you put a lot into it, Amy.
I do. The history is interesting, and we're always trying to get younger people interested in it. I think that we're used to being taught history as it being a really large scale. But this is local history, and you can find out what happened in the town and places you know and houses you know. And it's much more concrete than the way the history we're normally taught, and I think it will interest a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a little bit more relatable.
Yes.
So, Julie, do you collaborate with other organizations too? Is it?
We are actually going to be working on trying to create a historical house trail. There's a lot of small historic houses or places like the Palmer House and the Lighthouse, and we want to work with them eventually to work on some kind of a program, like maybe create a map so people who are interested in these old houses will have, they can follow a trail.
Yeah.
We're just, trying to do different things, trying to involve other organizations.
Right.
Good.
So, do you have a website?
We do have a website. It's www.denisonhomestead.org.
Okay, so that's pretty easy to
It's very
remember
easy
and-
to
and
remember.
maneuver through.
And how did I wanted to know how you got involved with Denison Homestead.
Well, I always liked history, and I got laid off from my previous job in 2008.
We always talk about
Yeah,
2008.
Right before Christmas.
Right. I can tell you September.
Mine was December.
Okay, well,
The week
close enough.
before.
Yeah.
But anyway, went without a job for 8 months, and I just happened to see this job on Craigslist, but it didn't list where it was located. And so when she told me where it was located, I got hired that week. And I've been there almost 3 years. I didn't know I was a dentist until I started working there.
So isn't that interesting? So you decided to do some of your own research
well,
and found
I had
out.
done genealogy. Actually, one of my aunts did the genealogy up until just before the Stanton hit. I was a Stanton dentist. I was a Stanton. My genealogy went to Stanton, and didn't realize that my Stanton had married into the Denisons. So actually, my connection is Captain George's daughter Sarah from his first marriage.
Wow.
Wow,
So I
isn't
thought
that
was-
interesting? Wow. So this was a godsend. Losing your job was
Yeah,
tough,
I think-
but it's a godsend. That,
I think, yes,
yeah.
a blessing in disguise.
Exactly.
And found a whole different part of your history that you had no idea about in the same
And,
token.
it's one of the type of job that you go every day and say, I love my job.
Right.
Good.
You don't even consider it a job because, you enjoy being there.
And do you guys help people if members of the Denison family come, or they suspect they're members? Do you help them with their
Yes.
genealogy?
Yes, we'll do everything we can to find their connection. We also have a genealogist who lives in New Hampshire who puts everything on, a computer program. And that's one of our projects is to publish a new Denison genealogy next year because the one we have, the large one, it was published in 1963. So it's been a long time. And there was a supplement in 1978. So this is a great time if there's any Denison connections out there or related families that want to get into our new genealogy to contact us.
Yes, yes.
Well, we only have a few minutes left, Aiden, so if you can just tell us your hours for the season and just repeat your website again.
Okay. We're open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday from 12 to 4 or by appointment any other time. The website is www.denisonhomestead.org. And maybe I should spell Denison. It's Denison.
Okay. Well, Julie, nice to have you here again. And Aiden, nice to meet you officially. So you know the hours, you know the website. Please visit. It's a great place. You'll walk away saying, I'm going to come back here again. All right. We are Mystic Matters. Good evening, Tricia. Good evening, ladies. Good evening.
Fly into mystic. Let your soul and spirit fly into mystic. Into mystic. Into mystic.